Blessed Shabbat, brothers and sisters, Hebrews in Jamaica, the Caribbeans, the West, to the four corners of the earth scattered greetings. The Shabbat lesson, I'm going to title it 144,000 Dan Excluded. This is a part 2 of the video I did last week. 144,000 brothers and sisters that are sealed. Right? And I mentioned briefly about Dan, right? And the replacement. Joseph, Tribe, Manasseh replaced Dan, right? So we're going to touch on that continuation, right, brothers and sisters? So I'm going to title it 144,000 Dan Excluded, and why, right? Let's go to Revelation 7. We're going to take it from verse 48, 1611 KJV. Lists, right? List 144,000 sealed or protected servants of Eliakim. So Revelation 7:48 is the list of 144,000 sealed, right? Or protected servants of Eliakim who will minister during the tribulation of the end times. The seal comprised 12,000 individuals from each of the 12 tribes of Yisrael, right? Yehuda, Reuben, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Manasseh, Simeon, Levi, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin, right? For some reason, the tribe of Dan is not listed. In its place is Manasseh, which is one of the two tribes that came from Joseph. The Bible does not tell us why the tribe of Dan is excluded from the list of the 12 tribes in Revelation 7. However, some background information about the 12 sons of Jacob and the 12 tribes of Yisrael might provide some clues. First, a brief history of the 12 tribes. The 12 tribes of Yisrael came from the 12 sons of Yisrael, right? Yisrael being the name that Elohim gave Jacob, right? Let's look at that Genesis 32 and 28, right? Alright, brothers and sisters, so Genesis 32, 28, 16, 11 KJV. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Yisrael. For as a prince hast thou power with Elohim and with men, and hast prevailed. See that? Alright, brothers and sisters. Right? So, Jacob's 12 sons were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. You can all find that in Genesis 35, 23 to 26, Exodus 1, 1 to 4 and 1, Chronicles 2, right, 1 to 2. The progeny, right, the progeny of those 12 sons comprised the 12 tribes of Yisrael. In the time of Joshua, when Yisrael inherited the promised land, Levi descended and did not receive a territory for themselves. You'll find that in Joshua 13 and 14, 1611 KJV. Right? Instead, they had priestly duties and took care of the tabernacle. Right? You know, that's David tabernacle, David the king. Right? There's two tabernacles. Moses' tabernacle represents the Old Testament, and David tabernacle, the king, who represent the Mashiach. That's the tabernacle we're going to go back and build up, and build the walls of Jerusalem, the wall of Zion, in our land of Benjamin, south of the New Jerusalem, which Constantine renamed. Right? Right, brothers and sisters? In the time of Joshua, when Yisrael inherited the promised land, Levi descended and did not receive a territory for themselves. Again, you can find it in Joshua 13, 14. Instead, they had priestly duties and took care of the tabernacle. The Levites were given several cities scattered throughout the land to fill out the 12 allotments. Joseph's tribe was divided in two. Jacob had adopted Joseph's two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, essentially giving Joseph a double portion for his faithfulness in saving the family from famine. You can find that in Genesis 47:19-12. In this arrangement, the tribes given territory, the promised land were Reuben, Simeon, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Ephraim, and Manasseh. In some places in the scripture, the tribe of Ephraim is referred to as the tribe of Joseph. Numbers 3, Numbers 1, 32, 33. Let's look at that, brothers and sisters. Right. Okay, so we have Numbers 1, 32 to 33. Of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim, by their generations and their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the numbers of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Ephraim, were 40,500. Right? Right, brothers and sisters? So see that? After King Solomon died, Yasha'el split into two kingdoms. Judah to the south includes the tribe of Judah and Benjamin, right? Because a lot of scholars, when they speak of the 12 tribe of Yasha'el, right? They and the divided kingdom, right? They always tend to forget the tribe of Benjamin. They use Judah to sum up Benjamin. You got to say, you got to point out and differentiate, right? The two. Israel to the north, 10 tribes, Judah and Benjamin, and was captured in slavery, and some and Levi with them too, right? Yes, Levi got caught up in the slave slave trade too, brothers and sisters, right? But I understand why some scholars will use Judah to represent both Benjamin and Levi, but you know, it'd be wise to clarify that Judah and Benjamin, along with some of Levi's, went into chattel slavery and scattered to Jamaica, Barbados, Haiti, America, United States, right? Trinidad, Tobago, St. Kitts, Nevis, Virgin Islands, yes, I mean, St. Martin, all those places, brothers and sisters. Brazil, you understand? Right? After King Solomon died, Israel split into two kingdoms. Judah to the south, including the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. The other tribes combined to make the kingdom of Yasha'el in the north. In the ensuing years, many Yashalites in the north immigrated to Judah in the south, right? Because Judah was the capital or the head tribe. So that's why they say Judah, right? But it's Judah, Benjamin, right? And Levi. Right, brothers and sisters? After King Solomon died, Yasha'el split into two kingdoms. Judah to the south included the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. The other tribes combined to make the kingdom of Yasha'el in the north. In the ensuing years, many Israelites in the north immigrated to Judah in the south to flee the apostasy in their homeland. Let's look at the apostasy in their homeland. 2 Chronicles 11:16 and 15:9. Right, brothers and sisters, let's look at those scriptures. 2 Chronicles, right? 2 Chronicles 11:16, 611 KJV. And after them, out of all the tribe of Yasha'el, such as set their hearts to seek Yahweh Elohim of Yasha'el, came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto Yahuwah Elohim of their fathers. So they come to Jerusalem, right? That's where Judah and Benjamin was. And also Levi too, brothers and sisters. Hmm? Let's look at another scripture. 2 Chronicles 15:9. 1611 KJV, brothers and sisters. Right? 2 Chronicles 15:9. And he gathered all Judah and Benjamin and the strangers with them out of Ephraim and Manasseh and out of Simeon, for they fell to him out of Yashael in abundance. When they saw that Yahuwah his Elohim was with him. See that? Judah and Benjamin, brothers and sisters. Eventually the northern kingdom of Yashael was destroyed by the Assyrians, and most of the Israelites were either killed or deported. It's likely that many of the Israelites who remained migrated to the southern kingdom of Judah, as many of the faithful before them had. Yahusha was from Judah, Paul was from Benjamin, Anna was from Asher, and John the Baptist was a Levite. But since the diaspora in 70 AD identifying the tribe of any given Jews is more difficult during the tribulation when most of the world is following the Antichrist. Yahusha was from Judah, Paul was from Benjamin, Anna was from Asher, and John the Baptist was a Levite. But since the diaspora in AD 70, when the Romans came and destroyed Jerusalem, right, and we scattered, we migrated to Portugal and Spain, and from there, right, we were persecuted. You ever heard of the Spanish Inquisition? That's the original Spanish Inquisition, when they persecuted our ancestors, our forefathers and mothers, because we kept the laws, command, and statutes, and would not give it up for Christianity, European way of worship. That's when the Inquisition took place, and most of us got killed and tortured, right? And the king rounded up most of us and expelled us, and we came into Africa, West Africa, the coastal area, right? Negro land, all those, right, land. And what happened, brothers and sisters? The Arab slave trade came, the same coast, and the transatlantic slave trade, and took us to the west. Jamaica and all those places, America and all those places. Trinidad, Haiti, Barbados. You see what I mean? You understand, brothers and sisters? Right? Identifying the tribe of any given Jew is more difficult but not impossible, because now we have DNA, we could trace our Hebrew roots, connected us back to our ancestors, brothers and sisters. You know, that's why I tell you, brothers and sisters, I urge you to watch this very beautiful, well done documentary, right, by a brother named Benaiah Ben Yashael, Reclaiming the Throne. It's a beautiful documentary, brothers and sisters. I urge, you know what I mean? I urge you, my viewers and subscribers, to go and watch. It's streaming on Tubi, right? You know, go and subscribe to that brother Benaiah Ben Yisrael. He has the vault. You see what I mean? He has the vault and wealth of information on DNA and our connection to our Hebrew ancestries. Right? The Antichrist, 144,000 Jews, will be sealed by Elohim, 12,000 from each tribe for special services. Elohim has kept track of the tribes, and he knows who is who. The tribes with sealed individuals are listed in Revelation 7. Right? Let's look at the Revelation 7, 5 to 8. Right? Revelation 7, 5-8. Okay, brothers and sisters. Revelation 7, 5 to 8, 1611 KJV. Of the tribe of Judah, were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. Brothers and sisters, all add up to 144,000. But it is not the same list as found in Joshua 13-22. Let's look at that, brothers and sisters. 1611 KJV, right? Right, brothers and sisters? Okay, brothers and sisters, turn your Bible scripture to Joshua 13. We're going to take it from 22 to 34. Right? 22 to 34. Balaam also, the son of Bor, the one who practiced divination, was killed with the sword by the people of Yashrael, among the rest of their slain, and the border of the people of Reuben was the Jordan as a boundary. This was the inheritance of the people of Reuben. Let me go over this again, brothers and sisters. Balaam also, the son of Bor, the one who practiced divination, was killed by the sword by the people of Yashrael, among the rest of their slain, and the border of the people of Reuben was the Jordan as a boundary. This was the inheritance of the people of Reuben according to their clans with their cities and villages. Moshe gave an inheritance also to the tribe of Gad, to the people of Gad according to their clans. Their territory was Jezreel, right? Or Yazir, right? Yazir, and all the cities of Gilead, and the half the land of the Ammonites to Aroer, right? Aroer, which is east of Rabbah, and from Heshbon to Ramath Mizpah, right? Ramah and Mizpah, and Bitonim, right? Bitonim, and from Mahananim, right? Mahananim to the territory of Dibber, and in the valley of Beth Haram, Beth Nimarah, Sukkot, and Zavan, right? The rest of the kingdom of Sihon, king of Heshbon, having the Jordan as a boundary to the lower end of the sea of Chinnereth, eastward beyond the Jordan. This is the inheritance of the people of Gad according to their clans with their cities and villages. And Moshe gave an inheritance to the half tribe of Manasseh. It was allotted to the half tribe of the people of Manasseh according to their clans. Their region extended from, right, to Mahananim through all Bashan, the whole kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and of the towns of Yer, right, which is in Bashan, 60 cities, and half Gilead, and Ashtaroth, and Edrei, the city of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. These were allotted to the people of Machir, the son of Manasseh, for the half of the people of Mishka according to their clans, right? These are the inheritance that Moses distributed in the plains of Moab beyond the Jordan east of Jericho. But to the tribe of Levi Moses gave no inheritance. Yahuwah Elohim of Yashrael is their inheritance, just as he said to them. Right? So you see how he divided the inheritance, right? According to what Yahuwah said. Right? Right? The sealed tribes in the end times include Manasseh and Ephraim under Joseph's name, but Dan is not included. No explanation is given as to why. There are some other details of the history of the tribe of Dan that might explain why Dan is missing from the list of sealed tribes in Revelations, right? Judges 18:1-31 tell the story of people of Dan falling into gross idolatry, also the Danites did not like the territory allotted to them. Right? Let's look at Judges 1 to 31. In those days there was no king in Yashrael. In those days there was no king in Yashrael, and in those days the people of Dan was seeking for itself an inheritance to dwell in. For until then no inheritance among the tribe of Yashrael had fallen to them. So the people of Dan sent 5 able men from the whole number of their tribe, from Zorah and from Eshtaol, right? From Zorah to Eshtaol, to spy out the land and to explore it. And they said to them, go and explore the land. And they came to the hill country of Ephraim, to the house of Micah, and lodged there. When they were by the house of Micah, they recognized the voice of the young Levite, and they turned aside and said to him, who brought you here? What are you doing in this place? What is your business here? And he said to them, this is how Micah dealt with me. He had hired me, and I have become his priest. And they said to him, inquire of Elohim, please, that we may know whether the journey on which we are setting out will succeed. And the priest said to them, go in peace. The journey on which you go is under the eye of Yahuwah. Then the 5 men departed and came to Laish, and said the people who were there, how they lived in security after the manner of the Sidonians, right? Sidonians, right? Quite unexpected, lacking nothing that is in the earth, and possessing wealth, and how they were far from Sidonians, and had no dealings with anyone. And when they came to their brothers at Zorah and Eshtaol, their brothers said to them, what do you report? They said, arise and let us go up against them, for we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good, and will you do nothing. Do not be slow to go, to enter in, possess the land. And as soon as you go, you will come to an unsuspecting people. The land is spacious, for Elohim has given it into your hands. A place where there is no lack of anything that is in the earth. So 600 men of the tribe of Dan, armed with weapons of war, set out from Zorah and Eshtaol, and went up and encamped at Kiriathream in Judah, right? Kiriathreim in Judah. On this account, that place is called Mahanadan, right? Mahanadan. To this day, behold, it is west of Kiriathreim, right? Kiriathreim. And they pass on this day, behold, it is west of Kiriathreim. And they pass on from there to the hill country of Ephraim, right? And came to the house of Micah. Then the 5 men who had gone to scout out the country of Laish said to their brothers, do you know that in these houses there are an ephod and household gods and carved image and a metal image? Now therefore consider what you will do. And they turned aside there and came to the house of the young Levite at the home of Micah, and asked him about his welfare. And the 600 men of the Danites, armed with their weapons of war, stood by the entrance of the gate. And the 5 men had gone to scout out the land, went up and entered, and took the carved image and ephod, the household gods, and the metal image, while the priest stood by the entrance of the gate with the 600 men armed with weapons of war. And when these went into Micah's house and took the carved image, the ephod, the household gods, and the metal image, the priest said to them, what are you doing? And they said to him, keep quiet, put your hands on your mouth, and come with us, and be to us a father and a priest. Is it better for you to be a priest to the house of one man, or to the priest of a tribe and clan in Israel, in Yashrael? And the priest's heart was glad. He took the ephod and the household gods and the carved image, and went along with the people. So they turned and departed, putting the little ones and the livestock and the goods in front of them when they had gone a distance from the home of Micah. The men who were in the house near Micah's house were called out, and they overtook the people of Dan. And they shouted to the people of Dan, who turned around and said to Micah, "What is the matter with you, that you come with such a company?" And he said, "You take my gods that I made and the priest, and go away. And what have I left? How then do you ask me, what is the matter with you?" And the people of Dan said to him, "Do not let your voice be heard among us, lest angry fellows fall upon you, and you lose your life with the lives of your household." Then the people of Dan went their way, and when Micah saw that they were too strong for him, he turned and went back to his home. And the people of Dan took what Micah had made, and the priests who belonged to him, and they came to Laish, to a people quiet and unsuspected, and struck them with the edge of the sword, burned the city with fire, and there was no deliverer, because it was far from Sidon, and they had no deal with anyone. It was in the valley belonged to Beth Rehob. Then they rebuilt the city and lived in it, and they named the city Dan, after the name of Dan, their ancestor, who was born in Israel, Yashrael, right? But the name of the city was Laish at the first, and the people of Dan set up the carved image for themselves, and Jonathan the son of Gershom, son of Moses, and his sons were priests to the tribe of Danites until the day of the captivity of the land. Right? So they set up Micah's carved image that he made as long as the house of Elohim was at Shiloh. You see, brothers and sisters, the tribe of Dan, right, erected false gods and worships in direction on opposition of the Mosai in Shiloh. So it gives you an inclination of the Antichrist spirit, you know what I mean? The fight between good and evil. You understand? So the tribe of Dan, with the seed of Cain and Esau, right, all mingled tribe, right, will be in the last days. The most are going to wipe out, right, along with all your oppressors and our enemies. So you see, brothers and sisters, you see the reason, right? You see the reason, brothers and sisters, right? So the story tells of the people of Dan falling into gross idolatry, as I just read to you in Joshua 18, 1-34. Right? Also, the Danites did not like the territory allotted to them near the Mediterranean Sea. The Amorites and the Philistines gave them trouble, so they sent out spies to find a better area in the north. The Danites learned of an area inhabited by a peaceful group of the people who we just spoke about, whom the Danites proceed to wipe out. They then moved the entire tribe up to that region just south of the present-day Lebanon. There they established their main city and called it Dan. So all these places is in, you guess it, ding 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 ding, Africa. Later in the divided kingdom, the people of Dan were part of the northern kingdom of Yashrael. King Jeroboam the first established two pagan worship centers, one in Bethel and one in Dan. 1 Kings 25, right? 1 Kings 12 dash 1 King 12:25-33. Sadly, this man-made worship at Dan, centered on the golden calf, became one of Dan's lasting legacies. Right? All the tribes of Yashrael are mentioned in the end time tribulation except for Dan. Right? Through the centuries have proposed the following reasons for why the tribe of Dan is not included in the list. Right? Dan's historical embrace of idolatry and immorality leads to disqualification for service during the end times. The Antichrist will come from the tribe of Dan based on certain readings. Right? Let's look at Genesis 49 and 17 to see that point, brothers and sisters. Right? Genesis 14, colon 17. 1611 KJV. Dan shall be a serpent. You see that? If you look at Dan flag, there's a serpent in it. Right? Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backwards. Let's look at another one. Deuteronomy 33:22. Right? And of Dan he said, Dan is a lion whelp. He shall leave from Bashan. Right? Here's another one. Jeremiah 8, colon 16. The snorting of his horses was heard from Dan. The whole land trembled at the sound of the neighing of his strong ones. For they are come and have devoured the land and all that is in it, the city and those that dwell therein. Right? By the time of Solomon, the tribe of Dan had assimilated with the neighboring Phoenicians, as 2 Chronicles 2:14 may hint at, had so lost their national identity. The tribe of Dan, once the second most populous tribe, declined in numbers and influence until by Ezra's time it had been totally wiped out. This would explain why Dan is not listed among the tribes in 1 Chronicles 4:7 or in Revelation 7. Right? Genesis 49:17. Right? Right? Genesis 49:17. An adder. Shippipon. Right? Shippipon. Right? Genesis 49:7. An adder. Shippipon. Alright? Sirates. Probably our kind of horned serpent of a subtle nature, which according to Pliny hides its whole body in the sand, showing only its horn to catch birds. This is intended to signify the subtlety of the tribe, which should conquer its enemy more by craft than by strength of force of arms, and by art and policy and surprise gain advantages against them, like a serpent suddenly biting the heels of a traveler. These words, says Bishop Sherlock, leads us to expect in the history of this tribe an account of some very dishonorable and perfidious transaction, and the history will justify this expectation, for though the house of Yashael were in general stubborn and disobedient people, yet it was the peculiar infamy of the tribe of Dan to be the ringleaders in the idolatry, the first who erected publicly a molten image in the land of promise, and by their example and perseverance in this iniquity infected all the tribe of Yashael. This idolatry began soon after the days of Joshua and continued till the day of the captivity of the land. Right? Deuteronomy 33:22. Right? And of Dan he said, of the tribe of Dan, as the Targums of Jonathan and Jerusalem. Right? Definition of Dan is a lion's whelp, or like one for boldness, strength, and courage, and was verified in Samson, who was of this tribe, who, when a young lion roared against him, the spirit of the Adonai came on him, and he tore it to pieces. Judges 14:5, 14:6. Right? So all this is describing Dan. He shall leave from Bashan, not Dan, or he was seated far from that country. But the sense is he was like to a young lion for its strength when it leaves from Bashan, as Abin Ezra rightly explained it. Bashan was a mountain in which lions hunted, and from whence they might be said to leap, as they do when they seize on their prey. You may have some respect to the leap of the Danites from the northwest part of the land of Yashrael, where they were settled, but was not sufficient for them to the northeast of it, when they went against Leshem and took it and called it Dan. Right? Jeremiah 8:16. The snorting of his horse was heard from Dan. So all these are breaking down key points, right? This is was heard. This is was heard at Jerusalem. It seems to be a hyperbolical expression showing the certainty of the coming of the Assyrian monarch and his army to invade Judea and besiege Jerusalem, the news of which was brought from Dan, which lay in the further part of the land. You can see that in Jeremiah 4 and 15, and pointed at the way in which they should come northward through Phoenicia and the tribe of Dan, with a numerous cavalry of horses and horsemen, for by his horses are met Nebuchadnezzar unless with Calvin. It can be it can be thought that they were called the Lords because ordered and sent by him, whose war it was against the people. The Targum paraphrases the words thus: because they worship the calf that is in Dan, a king with his army shall come up against them and carry them captive. And so Jarchi interprets it: the whole land trembled at the sound of the neighing of his strong ones. His horses strong and mighty. Where we read of the prancing of the mighty ones and hear the Targums, at the voice of the treading of his strong ones, all inhabitants of the earth shall move. And by the land trembling undoubtedly are met the inhabitants of the land filled with dread and consternation at the noise and near approach of the Chaldeans' army, for they are come and have devoured the land and all that is in it, all the fullness are of it, which because of the certainty of it is represented as then done the city and those that dwell therein, meaning not only the city of Jerusalem and the inhabitants of it, but other cities also, the singular being put for the plural, and so the Targum, the cities and they that dwell in them. Right? 2 Chronicles 2:14. The son of a woman and the son of a woman of the daughters of Dan. Right? In 1 Kings 7:14, Hiram is called son of a widow of the tribe of Naphtali. Berthayu explained she was by birth a Danite, married into the tribe of Naphtali, became a widow, and as a widow of the tribe of Naphtali became the wife of a man of Tyre, by whom she had son Huram. Thus two of the tribe of Yashrael could boast that on the mother's side Huram belongs to them, but in the Hebrew word the daughter of Dan, it is possible to see the corruption of the word Naphtali. Right? Skillful. This epithet belongs to Huram, not to his Tyrian father. The work in gold, 1 Kings 7:14, calls Huram simply a worker in brass or bronze. Purple, strictly Hebrew form, right? 2 Chronicles 2:7. Fine linen, by Sus, 1 Chronicles 15:27. Neither this material, right, of Huram's art, nor stone, nor timber was mentioned. 2 Chronicles 7:17. Huram is naturally represented and enhancing the accomplishment of this artist. To find out every device what shall he be put to him, rather to devise any manner of device that may be given him. To devise, that is, to invent all kinds of artistic objects according to commission. The word are reminiscence of Exodus 31:4, Exodus 35:32, probably interpolated by the chronicler, right? Interpolated by the chronicler with the cunning men, i.e., example, to work along with them, right? My Lord David. A touch of oriental politeness, Huram was independent of David as of Solomon. Right? So hearing and the Shabbat lesson, brothers and sisters, of why Dan was excluded from the 144,000 because of their gross idolatry and contempt of Yahuwah and his host on Yahusha and his commandments. Blessed love and shalom.